Hi guys, and welcome again into this new P5.js programming tutorial, and today we will be continuing with the game we did last time, and we'll be adding blocks on top just to be like this old game, the block destroyer. So this is just the code we wrote last time, and I added an object called block object, which I will add in this other file that I added in the HTML file, just to not be confused about what we did last time and what we did this time. So let's begin now by creating the block. So the constructive function called block of the block object should have this dot x and this dot x and this dot y. So we want to choose the x and y from the function, so I will add here two arguments, x and y, and let's make this dot x equal x and this dot y equal y. But now we don't have a block, we have to add a function that draws the block in the canvas. So this dot show is a function that draws this block. So the block is a rectangle. This rectangle should be in this dot x and this dot y. It should have 100 pixels in width and 550 pixels in height, but we want it to be in a different color, so I will add this dot color, which is the color of this one, of this rectangle. It will be a color value, a random value between 0 and 255, but I don't want it to be a gray, so I'll make it an RGB value with 3 colors: red, green and blue. So let's fill this rectangle with this color, and let's return the color to its natural white color, just not to influence the other objects of this game, like the ball and the player. So now we can show it. Let's go in the script, let's add the object in and name it my block. My block is a new block that will appear in 200 by 200. So let's see here. So we have the block. Now we defined the block element, the block object. Now we have to show it. So my block dot show. For that, this is the role of this show function inside the object. My block dot show. My block dot show. There is an error. I have to inspect the element to be able to debug this. Go to the console. This error may be in. Oh, I maybe forgot to close something. The call is not defined. This dot yes, it's this dot call. Now I am sure it will work. Let's just close this. So now we have rectangle, but we have now to have a function that handles the intersection with this rectangle, because like you see, the ball goes through it and does not stop or change its speed or its direction. So let's go now to block.js and add another function. This dot inter is the function that handles the intersections, that handles the intersection of the block with the ball. We have here free to move. So for this, I've drawn this schema, which will show you the coordinates of every dot in the 5 important dots in the ball. So we have the center with the coordinates x and y, and we have d is the diameter of the ball, So this dot will have x plus the radius, and we don't have the radius, and radius is equal to d divided by 2, so it's x plus d divided by 2, and this one is x minus d divided by 2. This one, the difference between those 3 points is the y coordinates, so y minus d divided by 2, y plus d divided by 2. Those ones are the same in the same horizontal level, so have the same y coordinates, and those ones have the same vertical levels, so have the same x coordinates. So it's very simple. Now we have to check the intersections. Let's check the horizontal intersections. If my ball dot x, let's check the vertical intersections first. My ball dot x plus my ball dot d divided by 2. If the right corner of the ball touches is greater than or equal to this dot x, and this dot my ball dot y, and my ball dot x plus minus my ball dot d divided by 2 is less than or equal to this dot x, the plus 50, so now, plus 100 actually. So now we made sure that the ball is somewhere from this the x coordinates of this side to the x coordinate of this side. So now we have to check if the ball is actually touching this side and this, or this side, and not touching somewhere else with the same x coordinates. So we have to make sure that the y coordinates of the ball is between the y coordinate of the top of the these corners and the other corners. So my ball dot y, we have to make sure that it is less than or equal to this dot y plus 50. Let's just make it simple. Let's begin with less than or equal to this dot y, greater than or equal to this dot y, here, and it should be also my ball dot y should be less than or equal to this dot y plus the height of this rectangle, which is 50. Now we have to make sure it's working. What will happen if the ball touches any side of these ones? So the x coordinates, the x speed has to change, has to be inverted, so that it goes to the right, touches this side, and then returns by the left. So my ball dot x speed should be minus my ball dot x speed. Let's try this. I will now go to the code and call the intersection function my block dot intersection, and let's check in again. So we won't see the intersection with the top and the bottom side, we'll just check the left and right. Let's refresh again, just to have a ball that hits the side we want. Yes, and it reflects from this side. Yes, now we made sure that it's working. So let's complete this and check the intersection with the top part and the bottom part. So if my ball dot y plus my ball dot d divided by 2, which is actually the y coordinates of the bottom dot of the ball, this should be greater than or equal to this dot y, and my ball dot y minus my ball dot d divided by 2 should be less than or equal to this dot y plus 50, which is the y coordinates of the last of the bottom part of the block. And again, now we check that the ball is in this part, that is that the intersection with somewhere with the same y coordinates as the top face of the block, and the bottom corner, the bottom face of this block. So now we will make sure that it is between this one and this one, which means that the real intersection with those faces, those sides of the block. So my ball dot x should make sure that my ball dot x is greater than or equal to this dot x, and my ball dot x is less than or equal to this dot x plus 100, which is the width of the block. Sorry, I will open the curly brackets, and inside we have to invert the y speed is equal to minus my ball dot y speed. Now let's test this and hope it works. So yes, it works like you saw now. Is the ball just touched this side of the block and it's working. Now it touched all the sides and it's working. So let's continue. Let's make we want this block to disappear every time a ball hits it. So every block that the ball hits have to disappear. So let's make this in the code. Let's make this function return true every time a ball hits it, either on the left side, on the top side, or any side. So also return true from here. Let's go again to the script and remove the intersection from here, and this one from here, and the show from here, and also remove this block object, because we don't want only one block. We want maybe let's make this larger enough to hold 5 blocks, and let's see if we can make an array containing 5 blocks to make it simple to handle each one of them. So my blocks is an array. Sorry, let's return my blocks is an array. For we make a for loop that will make us 5 blocks that will have, so every time it loops it will create a block element in this my blocks. So my blocks dot push, I will push a new element every time. The element should be a new block, and this block should have the y coordinates and the x coordinates that we specify in this function. So we want all of them to be on top, so they all have the 0 as a y coordinate, and the x coordinate should vary from 1 to 1 to let them be 1, and then the other one, all aligned in the same line. So it would be I multiplied by 100. So if I is equal to 0, the x coordinate of the first block will be 0, and it will be at this top top left corner. The second one will be 100. It's 1 multiplied by 100. It will be here, and the last one, because this is not this is less than and not less than or equal, the last I value will be 4, and it will be 400. So it will be in somewhere in here like this, and the end of it will be exactly at the 500 line, which is at the end of this canvas. So every time we draw one of them, as we draw 5, we create 5 in the setup, and we have to show every one of them. So another for loop in the draw for every element in the blocks array, in the my blocks array, my blocks. For every element in the my blocks array, we have to show the element, and again check if there is an intersection between the ball and this block. We need to pop it, we need to destroy it. So for every element we have to check if my blocks I dot enter, which is that function we saw here that returns true if there is an intersection between the ball and the block. So if there is an intersection and this is true, we should destroy this block. And how we do it is my block, now we have the I is the index of the block in this my blocks array. So my blocks dot splice one element beginning from the I element. So now let's refresh the page. Let's see if there is an error here. There is an error. I should add an L here, I forgot it. Save F5 to refresh the page, and it's working. Now it already touched the first element in here. Yes, every element you touch, it disappears. So we just have now to remove the previous points system. So if the ball touches behind the player, it should remove 5 points, but if it touches the top of the player, it should not remove, it should not add any point, but instead add the points if it touches and destroys a block. So points plus equals 5. Let's see now. Yes, and we already have 10 points because we already destroyed 2 blocks. We destroyed the third one, and yes, we will destroy the other one. Let's just make the ball appear in a different place just to not break the two first balls. Let's make it at 100 by 100 by 200 just to not hit any element. And as you see, wait for it to refresh. As you see, we have here 5 blocks. Every time the ball touches one, it's been destroyed, and we've been gifted with 1 point. So this is the game, and if you like this, don't forget to add a like and subscribe. This is really not a lot of code. It may be just a little bit, but it's not a lot of code. And in this programming session, I showed you how to use multiple elements, multiple objects in an array, and how to look through them and check the intersections, and how I defined last time the corners of the board. So thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to check my past video if you didn't if you didn't understand something. Write it in the comments. Check all my Python videos and like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video.